Super Mario RPG, the first major collaboration between Squaresoft and Nintendo, was dropped in early 1996 in the United States and was a major part of my summer between the 5th and 6th grades. The game was a massive joy during a real difficult time for me when I didn't have friends, grades weren't great, and I was clashing with my teachers and classmates. Yes, this game is that important to me. I completed the game, loving the graphics, learning how to play a turn-based RPG for the first time, figuring out the language of RPGs, and enjoying the music to this day. I honestly thought there would be a true sequel to the game, and I remember when Paper Mario was first announced, its name in the magazines was Super Mario RPG 2. Didn't turn out how I wanted it to be, but that being said, it was a solid game in its own right. Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars had such a positive impact on me that I did a retrospective on it. Check it out at your leisure, link is in the description. I always held out hope that a sequel would be made, but a remake was the furthest thing from my mind, so when I saw the E3 trailer, I was totally blown away by it. My reaction is also in the description. Like so many Nintendo titles before, the remake came out around my birthday, because my birthday is right before Thanksgiving and Black Friday, so I bought a digital and physical version and played the game right away. What is not known is that the last several months, my interest in playing video games has waned quite a bit for many reasons. And even content creation, uploading videos, has not been a big key motivation for me as of late. Playing this remake really brightened my mood and has motivated me to play more games, including finishing Super Mario Wonder and just resuming making video content. I figure I honor this game by doing my first ever video game review. If you have made it this far, I request the usual like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If you like the God tier thumbnail, my buddy Dread did it, so go check out his channel. He's so cool and creative with God tier content on a God tier channel. He did not tell me to say that. Honest. Link is in the description. Going forward, there will be some slight spoilers if you haven't played this game or the original Super Nintendo version, so tune out now if you don't want to get spoiled. Super Mario RPG Remake, simply released as Super Mario RPG without the Legend of the Seven Stars moniker, is a game that I feel is faithful to the original. Instead of Square, the honor of developing this updated remake is none other than Arte Piazza, a Japanese developer known for their enhanced remakes in the Dragon Quest series and the Romancing Saga series, so this type of work is nothing new to the team. The overall structure of the game is intact with updated visuals, animations, and character models that during my first play felt at home and just right, with even the detail in the rug in the Bowser Castle battle mode looking very appropriate. Yeah, I noticed these things, haha. Reacquainting with this game felt like seeing an old friend after so many years. Obviously changed, but still enjoying each other's company as if no time has passed at all. All the same locations, story points, characters, enemies, bosses are here, with nothing different in that regard, but there have been some new additional things and changes implemented in this remake that I did notice. A welcome addition to Super Mario RPG Remake is the cinematic cutscenes. Done in pre-rendered video, incorporated with some of the original shots to give the game a slightly new flavor and experience, yet retaining that original feel, which as someone who has a lot of nostalgia for this one, like myself, truly appreciates. Case in point, the beginning of the game when Bowser abducts Princess Toadstool. That's a new scene, but the shots are equivalent. Same with the follow-up when Mario pursues him and we see him cross the castle bridge. This time we get additional camera angles of that moment with us seeing the castle door ahead of us and Mario walking toward it, giving us an additional sense of the stakes here. We see quite a few cutscenes, and besides the latter, I really like all the new content, including ones for characters and boss introductions, giving them an additional sense of importance and gravitas in my opinion. One thing I have noticed are the changes in controls. I remember back in the day playing the original game with the Super Nintendo controller, along with the other classic 2D Mario games, recalling that the inputs, mainly the Y button, were required to make Mario sprint. For this remake, the default controls does not require you to hold the Y button, which I thought was a welcome change. One change I did not care for was when you are in battle mode and you select something other than attack, you have to press A to confirm the input selection instead of the corresponding input to the initial selection. Like, you press Y to open the special abilities menu, but you need to press A instead of Y to confirm your choice. I must have screwed this up 1,000 times already, due to muscle memory, but apparently you can change this to the original game settings. I'm glad that you can change it, but like, why was this particular change by default even in the cards? Seriously. The game has a new difficulty, an easy, breezy mode for beginner players equivalent to the difficulty of the original game. And now we have an additional normal mode that has some added difficulty to give veteran players like myself of the original game an extra fun challenge. With the odd button changes as I mentioned earlier, I will say muscle memory from the original game was still with me after 27 years, so playing this new one took some getting used to. I still haven't completely mastered the timing on some characters. Looking at you, Bowser, wahaha. Another interesting thing Arte Piazza did was give you limitations on item quantities in the newly defined normal mode. In the original game, you can have up to 99 of any item, so like 99 pick-me-ups for instance in your inventory. In this one, however, you can only carry up to 6. Mushrooms, syrups, able juices, now called cleansing juices, and many other items can carry up to a maximum of 10. Special enemies are now a thing that are encountered at random with much stronger stats, 3 times as such, immune to critical hits, and have actually caused me some game overs that I have not known for several years. So yeah, even veteran players like myself need to stay on their toes during certain battles because it's not safe. The last thing I will state that adds to the difficulty is the post-game content. Once you beat Smithy and complete the game, you can upload that save file and trigger a scene that begins in Mario's pad as our heroic plumber is enjoying his well-earned sleep. Toad wakes him up and gives him a voucher to the suite at the Merrymore Inn. I honestly did not know this after I initially beat this game back in November, so it was nice to find this out eventually. Well, at Merrymore, if you go to sleep, another scene is triggered where Gino is looking out the window and sees new shooting stars land in Star Hill. This triggers some boss rematches including Balome in his temple, Punchinello in the Mole Town Cave, Booster and his engine 023 in his tower that will kill the party with 9,999 damage. Yup, that is in this game, ha! We also rematch with the Wedding Cake, now but it's extra fancy and deadly. This one killed me a lot. You refight Jinx in Monster Town. This one is unique because it is a battle of survival until your party manages to fill a gauge meter to do a triple tech-like attack. Kind of like the triple tech attack system in Chrono Trigger. That's what I always think of. I am guessing the developers were a fan of the latter. Who wouldn't be? Johnny Jones demands a one-on-one rematch with Mario also, to see who is the bigger man. This one you need to choose carefully who you want on the sidelines for added effects. No support whatsoever, so this one you have to stay on your toes and time the hits proper for minimal damage. The final fight is a 3D version of Kulex, the optional boss. In the regular game, he still retains his 2D form as you fight him, but he comes back as the ultimate boss in this remake. A theory, but I think this is the same Kulex from the original Super Mario RPG, and has traveled to this 3D dimension to find even stronger adversaries. His 3D version is him learning and adapting to this new 3D environment. I hope I can beat him. He is tough. Other things that I've noticed that didn't detract from the game but I found strange initially was the change of most of the names of the characters and enemies. A few examples. Mac is now Clay Morden. Eurytovich is now Spiritovich. Hinopio in the volcano is now Cindertoad. And Frogfucius is now simply the Frog Sage. Wizardkoopa is baffling because I grew up with Magic Koopas ever since Super Mario World and its animated show, and has been part of the series for years. I am taking it Nintendo localizing this wanted to be consistent with the original Japanese games as opposed to their localized names here that I grew up with. Oh well. I still call the princess Princess Toadstool. Yup, that's very peachy of me. Get it? Don't answer that. I did like the quality of life improvements that Mario RPG Remake provides. Fast travel is now a thing that didn't exist before that saves you time and energy. I wasn't aware initially of this and was curious why at the end of Bandit's Way there was no trampoline that appears allowing you to skip to the beginning. Now I know why. Action prompts is another thing that has been helpful with this game. There have been some special abilities like Princess Toadstool's Psych Bomb, Mallow's Snowy, or Bowser's Mecha Crush, where I always wonder if I was performing the attack effectively at the right time. The added prompts let a nerd like me know that I am performing the proper inputs to optimal results. Despite some of the increased difficulty I mentioned earlier, if you or all of your party fall in battle, you can bring in the remaining 2 characters instead of automatically getting game over, which makes logical sense. I remember when I was a kid and it was like, where are the other characters during this moment? Wouldn't they hop in and help? The final one quality of life improvement I want to point out that should be a no-brainer here is that this game has an autosave feature. The original game did not have this, so if you weren't vigilant and did not visit save points regularly, you ran the risk of losing progress, and the practice of rage quitting would ensue to various results. Something I never ever did as a kid. You believe me, don't you? Don't answer that. The music in this game, like its predecessor, did not disappoint, with Yoko Shimomura returning to rearrange the game's soundtrack. Like I said in my Super Mario RPG retrospective, link is in the description, the music has that Super Mario charm, putting a spin on the classic Koji Kondo themes, including the all-time classic original Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme, along with the World 1 Super Mario Bros. Theme, to create the classic Mario's Pad theme, amongst many others. All the tracks in the game are solid, and in my opinion have surpassed the original versions, except one in particular. I'm sure you all have noticed my opening montage in the very beginning. I tried my best to recreate my retrospective's opening for the second half, using equivalent moments and some of my favorite tracks in the entire game. Only one track from the original game remained, and that was the Seaside Town theme. The original was very upbeat and dynamic and extremely catchy that I can walk and whistle to. The newer version starts with a fine ragtime-style piano riff that builds to the climax that is unfortunately underwhelming for me, with the instrument of choice being a frickin' recorder. I still enjoyed it and included a portion of it in the beginning, but the original version, in my opinion, is superior. Let me know if you agree in the comments. Beware the Forest Mushrooms is fantastic and perfect for adventuring in the weird unknown. The Goodbye Gino track has even more gravitas than before, and the stakes are never higher when an energetic guitar shreds into the final battle against Smithy. The music has stayed with me for decades, and I am happy that younger people will be able to access this and enjoy the timelessness of it, as I did all those years ago. The remake of Super Mario RPG was a wild surprise I never saw coming. Something I never thought would ever happen, even though we live in an age of constant remakes and reboots of properties across the mediums. Video games has the unique advantage of surpassing the original game, and that alone makes me excited. I think Super Mario RPG Remake has succeeded in surpassing the original game while remaining faithful to it, including the overall look, the story and scenarios, and most of the writing. Some might disagree with me on this, and that is alright, depending on how you first received the original game, memorizing every detail presented, or someone like me who has played it for years, enjoyed it, and come back to it every now and then. This game made me feel like that child back in 1996 first playing this, managing to make him happy despite a time of unhappiness in his life. I literally shed a few tears while playing this and actually marathoned it through the first few days it came out. I really enjoyed this one a lot, and what I really want to know, if you are still here, is to let me know in the comments if you agree with me on my takes of this game. Many different people will have many different experiences and many different reactions to it, and I want to hear them all, including what you love about the original game and whether or not this remake lives up to it. I personally think it did. It is a shame that Chihiro Fujioka, the original director of Legend of the Seven Stars, was not involved in this game, so I hope if the powers that be at Nintendo decide to greenlight a sequel, I ask that they include Fujioka and hear his ideas so that the game will be all the better for it. Thank you everyone for watching this, and check out my video retrospectives, especially the one on the original game and the other Nintendo games that I played at your leisure. Take care, and stay Nerdporeal everybody.